Why was the Doctor bald? Sorry, that's no way to start a video. Let me just start again. Hey Whovians! Why was the Doctor bald? Now, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, which let's face it, if you're watching this video, you're more than likely aware. In the episode Time of the Doctor, it is revealed that the Doctor is in fact bald. Huh? Of course he's not bald throughout all his adventures. No. It's just this one adventure he is bald in. And they do give a bit of an explanation.
You shaved your head?
Yep, clever plan to get us past the shield.
You got bored one night, didn't you?
Yeah, tiny bit bored.
Bullshit! Okay, that's a bit harsh. I mean, they had a reason for making him bald, and that is because the actor Matt Smith, who played the Doctor, in real life had to shave his head for a role. And they decided to incorporate this into the actual show. Makes sense. However, what I'm not buying is that excuse. He was bald? The Doctor has more sense than that. Well, maybe not completely, but he has a little bit more sense. Now, I always assumed this was just a little throwaway line and there was a bit more of a complicated reason to why he was bald. You know, that was for up to us to decide. But since this is my video, it's up to me to decide. Selling. It's complicated. Now, in order for you to get this theory, you have to know a little bit about the classic era. The classic era? But that's all black and white and old and I don't... Silence, you youngsters! You don't know you're born. You don't watch Classic Who, you're not a real Who. Shh. It's okay if you haven't watched the classic episodes. They're pretty muddled up and it's quite hard to keep track of it all, especially since big chunks of them are missing. But all you have to know is Trial of the Time Lord, because that is such an easy one to start off with. Hey look! These are the DVDs. You have to have 4 DVDs to tell this story. This one story. And even then they don't tell it properly. I mean, look at the... Ah, held my beer. Anyway, this little story contained a certain character known as, say it with me now, the Valeyard. And for those of you who don't know who the Valeyard is, which I reckon would actually be most of the people who actually watched the show, because it was pretty complicated. But essentially, the Valeyard is a future reincarnation of the Doctor? You tell us, Master.
The Valeyard is an amalgamation of the darker sides of your nature, somewhere between your 12th and final incarnation.
Yeah, there you go. That's who the Valeyard is. Now in this, it's not actually explicitly said that this absolutely is the Doctor. I always took it as it was some kind of an amalgamation of the Doctor.
The Valeyard is an amalgamation.
Rather than actually being the physical Doctor himself. Well, that was my excuse for it anyway, because it's bloomin' complicated. What's this all got to do with Matt Smith being bald? Shut up, I'm getting to it. So, in my little theory, this involves Matt Smith's Doctor, the 11th Doctor, or 12th, or 13th if you want to get really technical. It involves him between Day of the Doctor and Time of the Doctor. Now, the Doctor is well aware that he's on his way. He's not going to last much longer. So he's taking a little bit of time to tie up a few loose ends. Now, I reckon he went back to a certain planet to see a certain deceased daughter. Jenny. Remember the episode where he had his thing copied? He had this kick-ass daughter who died but didn't really die, and then he didn't realise she didn't really die, and she's not coming back. Anyway, I think he went back to that planet in order to, you know, say his goodbyes to the deceased daughter. You know, it's his final thing. He's gonna pay his respects, so to say. But he ends up going a little bit further back than he intended. There, he comes across a primitive version of the cloning machine, which of course he gets himself stuck in, because he's the bloomin' doctor. And it all goes haywire. It's not quite right. It takes out all his hatred. It just amalgamates into the Valeyard. And that is how we get the Valeyard, you see? And that actually makes sense with what the Master said. Because as the Master said...
Somewhere between your 12th and final incarnation.
It's always confused me about why he was confused about which regeneration it was. He seems to know a lot about the Valeyard, so why would that be a bit of a... Well, now we know. Because it's very confusing to see which Doctor Matt Smith's Doctor really is. Anyway, the Valeyard, now set free, goes back into the past in order to mess with the Doctor. See Trial of a Time Lord. Look at the... And Matt Smith follows him because, of course, the only way Valeyard can go back in time is to steal his TARDIS. Doctor ain't gonna settle for that shit, let me tell you that. Don't try and talk and drink. So the Doctor's back in a time he really shouldn't be, during Trial of a Time Lord. Look at the... And he's searching around, trying to keep out the way of his younger self, trying to locate his TARDIS. And he believes he's found it, he ducks in, and lo and behold, it's the 6th Doctor's TARDIS. Whoopsie-doodle. So now the Doctor's in a bit of a pickle. Because this TARDIS, seeing that the Doctor, doesn't matter which Doctor to the TARDIS, they're all the Doctor. She takes off and tries to save a certain Peri. Now, it's important that you know who Peri is. She is currently stuck back in time, dealing with the weird blobby thing, transferring his mind over to hers. Watch the bloody thing. Look at the... Anyway, well, he figures while he's back there, he might as well try and fix things up with Peri a little bit. He comes across Peri, but he's too late. The minds have already been swapped. What is he gonna do? Now this fixes something that really bugged me about Trial of a Time Lord. But they said that the old body had like a stinger. I thought that was going to come back into play somehow, but it never did. So, the Doctor says, dude, you got to get the hell out of Peri's body. I mean, it's not cool. Consent. Alright, you can't go into a girl without consent. That was awkward. But of course, the little alien bugger's like, nah, I'm not going to get out, screw you. Don't know why he would do that. Because humour. So the Doctor says, fine, if you're not going to get out. He grabs the stinger, stabs Peri's body, and now Peri's body's poisoned. What choice does the monster have other than to get the hell out of that body? So he gets sent back into his original body, Peri's mind is restored, but she's poisoned. Ah, she's poisoned by a stinger which has been evolutionary programmed to kill people from that planet. And Peri ain't from that planet. So she's fine. So the Doctor saves the day. And this is where we get into bold territory. Because if you remember from that story, Peri had her head shaven. If you know Peri's character, you'll know she will not be pleased with this one bit. So the Doctor will see that she's a bit upset and will naturally try to calm her down a little bit. No, calm down, Peri. I'm a monster. My hair. No, it looks great. It's actually kind of cool. I would do it. And of course he does. Whether he thinks it actually is cool or whether he just does it to calm Peri down, either or work. I reckon he looks at it and actually does think, that does look a bit cool actually. I reckon I could pull that look off. You know how the 11th Doctor is. 12th? 13th? The fuck ever. And hence, this is why he's bold in Time of the Doctor. Needlessly complicated? You bet it is. And that's why I love this show. Really is why I love this show, because there's a lot of little plot holes and things that don't quite make sense. And rather than really hating that, I like to like fill in the gaps myself. Maybe I'll do some more, who knows. Maybe I won't. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, maybe I will. God, this is good stuff. But anyway, that is basically my theory on why the Doctor is bald. Have you got another one? Did he even think about it? Did it even bother you that he was bald? Pop it down in the comments there. The comments, not my... You know, whatever's down there. The DVDs. Look at you do all that stuff you gotta do down there. Thummy, subby. You look dummy. Whatever. And I'll see you next time. Meh.